came in like a wrecking ball. I never into one love. All I wanted was to break you all. All you ever did was wreck me. I came in like a wrecking ball.
Greetings, Dissenters! I am Patrick Smith. Welcome back to Disenthrall. You kill that music before we get the copyright strike like what happened to the last video. Guys, impromptu video really quick. Wasn't expecting to do something today, but something happened really late last night. Was tweeting back and forth with one of the head guys at Gab. And I don't know if you're familiar with Gab, but they are sort of an alternative social media network that is competing with Facebook and Twitter, and they're basically, their mission is to provide a free speech environment. So they do not censor. Pretty much as a rule, they do not censor unless obviously it's violence or threats of violence. That's kind of Gab's whole mission statement, and why pretty much the entire left, the extreme left, doesn't like them, calls them, you know, Nazi supporting, whatever. Anyway, so Gab has kind of been at the forefront of the free speech battle for a while online. First with their social network, then more recently they kind of they created a browser extension called Dissenter. I'm not sure, I don't think we've really talked about it on this channel yet. But, you know, it's an extension that you could ostensibly install into Firefox or Chrome that would allow you to basically comment on anything on the internet in an uncensorable way. And, of course, within a few days, I think, the extension was taken down by Google, was taken down by Firefox from their extension stores, and so you can still install the browser extension into those browsers now, but you have to do kind of a really, not really, but you have to kind of do a manual process of putting your browser in like debug extension mode and manually loading the Chrome or Firefox extension to get access to Dissenter. Dissenter allows you to use your Gab account. So if you have an account on gab.io, right, I believe, then you can use it to comment on anything on the web. And normally I'd be kind of showing you that as we go here, but hey, Rika, good to see you. We have, I'm pretty sure I'm not lying or exaggerating at all. I'm pretty sure this is a world first exclusive. I haven't seen any other content from anybody outside of Gab on YouTube yet showing off their latest project to basically give a middle finger to the world. And he gave me a copy of it. I have the software installed in a virtual machine that I'm about to show you. I am so hyped right now. Check it out. Okay, so a virtual machine is like a computer running inside of a computer just for testing purposes. I set it up just to be kind of a sandbox safe environment. What you are looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is the new, not yet released in the world. I was one of the, I think, the first 50 people outside of Gab to touch it. And I think I'm pretty much the first in the world on YouTube bringing it to you with video. This is the Gab browser. Gab has created an internet browser. Okay, so why is that? What happened? There's a story behind it, right? So obviously they create their Dissenter browser extension. Then it gets taken down by the Google and the Firefox. And so they're like, okay, well, screw you guys. Guess what? The Chrome browser is based on the Chromium project, which is an open source browser project. It's kind of led by Google, but not 100% controlled by Google. So just really quickly, over the past, I don't know, 6 years or so, I used to use Chrome, but I really was just never comfortable with Google tracking literally everything you do in Chrome. Then I realized that, you know, if you wanted to, you could go to the kind of the root source project and download and install and run Chromium, which is the Chrome browser before Google takes it and wraps it in their branding and adds, all of the monitoring and centralized account support into Chrome. So you get like your cake and eat it too. You get the Chrome browser that's one of the fastest, really good, feature-rich, awesome browser without as much of the Google spying. There's a couple things that are still in the Chromium browser from Google, but it's not the Google account stuff. It doesn't wrap it all into your name or whatever. So significantly better. However, it's still wrapped in the Google extension store unless you want to sideload. You could sideload extensions, and I say sideload just because people that have mobile devices will understand that language. Like if you have an app that's not on the official Google or Crapple App Store, then you have to sideload the app, which means you have to kind of go through extra steps to get it on your machine outside of the command and control of the motherships. So even with Chromium, if you wanted to run an extension that wasn't ordained by Google, and even on Firefox, and I have direct experience with this. If you haven't heard of my project called Face Mask, I haven't updated it recently, but I'm pretty sure the basic features of it still work. It is a browser extension for currently for Chrome-based browsers, so Chrome, Chromium, and the Russian version of it. Anyway, it's a browser extension that allows you to encrypt your Facebook messages. So any message you post on your wall, you can choose who should be able to see it. It literally encrypts it, so only other people using Face Mask that have that you've exchanged public keys with can decrypt the messages that you post. It has group functionality and all this stuff. Anyway, so it was a browser extension. I have direct experience developing browser extensions and interfacing with these browser companies like Google, trying to get an extension in the Google extension store and trying to get my extension in the Firefox extension store. Both stores at one point in time rejected and then later banned my Face Mask extension. So I have been through this exact same, just insurmountable, it's just terrible. What's up, Philip? Hey, AdCap. What's up, guys? So Google required that I strip out about 30% of the features that I had planned for the Face Mask extension to get it back in. So it is currently in the Google Chrome extension store in a crippled fashion. And then Firefox, they had a couple bugs in the actual Firefox browser that they had known about for like 3 years, not fixed, that made it not function. It just wasn't compatible with Firefox, and eventually they just banned me outright from the Firefox extension store. So there are these motherships that lock down their extension stores, and when we know that they're ideologically driven, as Google obviously is, as Firefox obviously is, then extensions they don't like are going to have a bad time. And Gab created their Dissenter extension and got kicked out of both of the primary browser extension stores. So, first there was Chrome, then I used Chromium, then I heard about a browser called Brave, which I'm sure there's a bunch of people saying, hey, use Brave, use Brave. Well, until less than a year ago, Brave only allowed you to install extensions that were whitelisted, and it wasn't a direct fork of the code from Chromium. It was more customized than that and more locked down. And so for someone trying to develop new extensions, I didn't want yet another mothership to beg for permission to distribute my extension to, because I had just been burned by Google and just destroyed by Firefox, and I was like, F these people. So I'm like, if I'm still going to be under the thumb of somebody else, why am I switching? I'm going to stay on Chromium. Well, I think it was about a year ago, less than a year ago, Brave kind of set aside that code and then took the Chromium browser and forked it, which means you take the code, because it's open source, the code's available, anybody can go and download the code behind the browser. They forked it, which means they took a copy of the code and started working on customizing it. And they added some things. They built in ad blocking, which is something Google wouldn't do, obviously. They added some weird cryptocurrency-based attention Here, check this out. We'll browse in the new Dissenter browser over here. So they added some attention token situation that would allow you to like watch ads in the Brave browser to supposedly support creators and make money, so you wouldn't have to see ads or whatever. So I disabled all that because I just really like, all I want is like a browser of the quality of Chrome without the spying and without the garbage. Just give me a browser that I'm in control of, that I can do what I want with and install what I want into it. That's all. That's all. So, I mean, I still switch to Brave because you can disable most of that cryptocurrency, you know, watch ads stuff or whatever. And Brave, the new forked version, allowed you to install extensions from the Chrome Google extension store. So now I had a browser with more features than Chromium that I could still install the mainstream extensions from the store on, and I could still sideload extensions. So I had a little more control and a little extra features, and I had kind of finally detached from the Google mothership in terms of the browser I used. Now, you can still install the Dissenter extension. You can still sideload it into the Brave browser. It's kind of like the sideloading is kind of a pain in the ass, honestly. When you open the browser, let me see if I can do it. I already have a browser open. When you open the browser, every single time you open it for the first time, it pops up a window saying, "Oh, you've sideloaded extensions. Disable them," with a big disable button and a tiny little X that you have to, like, you know. Anyway, I'm just whining at this point, but it's annoying. Okay, so I want to start by surfing a little bit over here. I mean, I'm not like blowing anybody's minds. Let's see. Jordan Taylor Swain says, "Did they give an explanation as to why you were banned?" Yes. Google. A big part of the functionality in Face Mask was I had an opt-in only, like, so it was disabled by default. I wanted to put in a lot of work into cloud hosting files, so I don't want to do a deep dive into this, but what I wanted to do with Face Mask was allow you to not only just encrypt your text posts, but I wanted you to be able to encrypt files and images and literally just like post encrypted files to your Facebook wall. Freaking awesome, I thought it would be. But, you know, that requires cloud hosting and server space and all this stuff. And I thought, well, what a really cool way. You know, this was a year ago that I was thinking about it when browser mining was a lot less of a bad word. But I was like, okay, well, I could do a thing where if a user wanted to opt in to, you know, maybe 5% of their CPUs, whatever, the extension could mine, you know, some crypto, and it would give them premium status and allow them to start, you know, using the cloud resources for hosting their encrypted files. Whatever. Anyway, Google absolutely said no. Firefox absolutely said no to that. So I kind of had to strip out a lot of the file uploading stuff as well. Firefox, like I said, the primary problem was that there was a long-standing bug that still has not been fixed to this day, years later. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on that. So, Rika says, Brave is Chrome, isn't it? Maybe you said that, but I was sidetracked. Yes. So, all of the browsers that we've talked about today, except for Firefox, are Chromium-based. So, the root source code where it all starts is Chromium, the Chromium project. It is not, it's not like lockdown controlled by Google, but Google is heavily involved in it because obviously it's the code that Google then forks to produce the Chrome browser. So Chromium is Chrome, is like proto-Chrome, Chrome before all the Google stuff is, you know, latched into it. I used Chromium for years because it's everything we like about Chrome without a lot of the Google stuff. And then Brave, about a year ago, chunked their old code and forked Chromium to make their own Brave Chrome flavor. And then now Gab has forked Brave. So that is where we are today. What we're looking at on the screen is Gab's new fork. This is probably the first person on YouTube to show this live. We have the new Gab Chromium-based browser. So they took the Brave browser, they forked it, they stripped out that weird cryptocurrency attention token business, watch ads to make crypto stuff. That's gone. So it's kind of more back to Chromium in that crap is out of the way. And they added Dissenter. So it is the Dissenter browser. So instead of having a Dissenter extension that's kind of off to the side, that's not always as prominent as you might want it to be, now, like, the homepage is the Dissenter sort of homepage, the news thing. And so, like, if you go to the Dissenter webpage, homepage, you'll see kind of the headline news, the things that are getting the most Dissenter attention. And then also, right here in the address bar on the right, you have basically the Dissenter extension tucked away, always there, ready to go to use whenever. Now, I haven't poked around yet. This is still really new. I just kind of got this going. But it, for all other intents and purposes, this appears to have all of the normal features of a basic Chrome browser. So I'm not giving up anything, you know. We still have extensions. Let's poke around in here. Web store. Yeah, so it by default will let you install extensions from the Google Store. It still has the developer mode, so you can add in additional extensions. I'll do some more testing with this to see if it's kind of a pain in the ass. I'm sure that he's only been working on this for a few weeks, so this is probably still very Brave-like. Yeah, VirtualBox. I didn't want to put this on the main workstation, so I rolled up a quick VM to play with it. Okay, so, like, if you haven't seen the Dissenter extension, this is the Dissenter.com page, and you can kind of see, like, what people are talking about on here. Content warning, obviously, because this is the free speech area of the internet. I don't know what people are going to write in there. But the idea behind Dissenter in general, and I meant to cover this on the channel anyway, was that anything on the internet now has a comment section that is not regulated and moderated and destroyed and bannable and Zucker booked and all that stuff. So, like, if we're over here and you're, on my Facebook page, let's say, and you pull up this post, well, and you wanted to post some stuff that might get you zucked. I'm not suggesting you do, because this is my personal wall, but I'm just saying, if you wanted to have a discussion that Zuckerberg didn't have a say in, you could, rather than type your comment here, you could use face mask and encrypt it, then he wouldn't know, and you're not going to get banned for encrypted stuff, hopefully. Or you can click the Dissenter extension. Now, I'm logged in with my Gab account, but this is basically what it looks like. So now we have, and you can even go live chat, and you can have like a live conversation with anyone else paying attention to this page right now. And you guys can start commenting and conversating and dissenting about whatever it is. And as long as you're not threatening or, espousing violence, Gab isn't going to censor you. This is kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal. So, like, you can go to my profile. Here we go. Somebody's already... Oh, what a generally awesome dude. See? Nobody can censor that. That's good stuff. YouTube videos. Like this one, who I probably will do a rebuttal response to soon. Let's say they had the comments disabled for the video, like some content creators do. Doesn't matter anymore. People that have the Dissenter browser extension, or now the Dissenter browser, and there really isn't a reason why not to have the Dissenter browser, because it's basically Chrome. It has almost everything that Chrome has, except for the heavy Google integration. You can now leave comments. Like, it's free speech to the browser, and basically, that was their whole point, is that the big motherships told them where they could stick it when they tried to release this stuff. They said, oh no, we don't want your extension on our store. And so Gab, being the honorary MFers that we so much love, said, okay, well, guess what? You know, the browser that you have on lockdown is not actually on lockdown. It's open source. So we're just going to fork that real quick. And now what you going to do? Now what? And so, this is a Twitter conversation between Brandon Ike, who is the Brave browser CEO. He got a little butthurt that Brave was forked. Anyway, so this is Gab basically saying, did you guys think we were kidding when we said we were going to build our own browser? We successfully forked Brave's open source code base, blah, blah, blah. Now they started customizing it. Brendan's like, no, I doubted you were irrational enough to fork a fork. Good luck and note build, blah, blah, blah. He's just weird, butthurt, whatever. A little memeing action from Gab, the usual. And so then there's an interesting discussion. Brave has not yet developed sufficient features with which Chromium lacks for Brave to be worth forking yet. Not saying this to attack you, just trying to think through the logic here. Oh, I figured it out. Gab strongly dislikes attention token, that cryptocurrency ad replacement thing in Brave, because they believe people should pay for pro features on sites rather than see advertisements. I don't think that was Gab's reason. And so Brendan says it isn't clear what the value add is for their fork, but it can't be just pay for your own content. That is a flop in any currency. So I think they thought that they were going to also try and fork the whole, weird attention cryptocurrency thing, but that isn't literally what Gab is trying to do. Gab says our value add is free speech, a free speech browser with a free speech app store, which is going to come soon. And that solves the sideloading problem and is a really, really world-changing thing. I'm so excited about this project. With free speech money, so they might include an actual Bitcoin or BCH wallet into the browser at some point, but not in like a creepy watch ads sort of way, just a wallet. We care about saving free expression, fundamental difference, fundamental USP. So their whole reason is just to take Brave, a browser that has, stripped out all of the Google stuff, and added in ad blocking and crypto. Then they strip out the crypto, and now we just have a browser with built-in ad blocking. You can see that working here. You still have the shields up stuff that you're used to seeing in the Brave browser. With third-party trackers blocked, upgrading connections to HTTPS, blocking scripts if you want, third-party cookies, all that good stuff. It's great. Got to look into who creates these platforms, Rika says. Yeah, it's the same guy that created Gab, the social network. So I'm not sure what his politics are. I just know that he is a free speech absolutist. And in this day and age, I like that. Okay, so Brendan from Brave is confused. Who needs another browser just to sideload an extension? And another guy says the issue is normal people aren't going to do it. They want a button that says install and it installs. Normal people, defined statistically, are not going to install a new browser. Try harder. So there's a couple interesting things in here that I wanted to just point out. Normal people aren't going to do it. They want a button that says install and it installs. That's why the Gab guy is creating a new app store that the Dissenter browser will recognize as default, just like Brave recognizes the Google store as default. Brave doesn't have their own app store. If you want to install stuff that isn't on Google Store, you have to sideload it in the Brave browser. So it's not really better than Google in that way. When Gab is done with this one, it will be better in that way. Let's see. ANCAP says, speaking of crypto, if you want to earn crypto while watching streamers, check out Not Governor. Yeah, DLive.tv is the new Twitch. It's the free Twitch without the SJW over moderation. That's like the main headline of the internet this past 4 or 5 years has been somehow it fell into the hands of a bunch of SJW activists, and everything is getting moderated and controlled at this point. Zeke says, I can't even install the Dissenter browser because I currently have the Brave browser installed. Gab confirmed it's a bug. They're working on it. Yeah, literally. Last night, they handed it out to the first 50, I think he's up to 100 people. I texted him right before I started going live here. 100 people have this. So this is the first time people have seen this on the internet. And because it's a fork of Brave, You know, if you try and start a Brave browser and then install the Brave browser after you've already installed it, it shuts down the installer because it's like already have Brave. Well, it's a fork of Brave, so right now when you start up Dissenter, if you already have Brave installed, it's not going to install Dissenter. I sidestepped that whole problem with the VirtualBox. So this is a separate machine. It's a clean machine. Anyway, so Brendan is calling it out, saying, who needs another browser just to sideload an extension? Like, that's the only reason Gab is messing with forking this browser. Though, I think it's just like step one. Like, the first step is you fork the code and you throw a little extension on there to allow free commenting. Then you create an app store, and the world explodes with amazing extensions that you couldn't get before with stuff that Google and Firefox have banned. Then you can add all sorts of other free speech related anti-censorship features. Like you could build in face mask into the Gab browser, and now people can start communicating on Facebook with encrypted posts. You could do that. We could, fork face mask and make it for Twitter. You could build all these free speech, privacy centric tools into this browser. The other thing that's weird is like normal people. Brendan says normal people defined statistically are not going to install a new browser. Try harder. But he's the CEO of a company making a new browser, so I guess he's just saying that you're going to need more of a value add to get people to switch browsers. I'm not sure that's actually true anymore because, like, your machine always comes with Internet Explorer. How many people actually use Internet Explorer? Let's do that. Browser statistics. If I could type. Just give me the graph. Okay, so Internet Explorer is at 6.3%. That's actually lower than I expected. So normal people, statistically, are installing a new browser. They install Windows or they get a new PC and they don't continue using Internet Explorer. Statistically, they install a new browser. So what's to say, rather than going to Google and installing Chrome, I just don't go to Brave or Gab, Dissenter, whatever. I just install the browser of my choice. I don't think that's going to be an issue anymore these days, especially when the main competition are all forks of Chromium, which is in and of itself a pretty decent browser. So Gab says, then why are you building a browser company? We're in a different category, says Brendan. So you're not building a browser for normal people? Who are you building it for? Robots? And apparently there was some tweet deleting because of typos. Deleting your tweet, blah, blah, blah. Not seeing enough maturity or good judgment to want to work together. The Bitcoin maximalism is trollish, looks bad faith in light of blah, blah, blah. So he's not answering the question, basically. Anyway, so they just had a little butthurt tweet off between the Gab guys and the Brave guys. And right now, I am so excited about this Dissenter browser. I'm quite a maximalist at this point. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Rika doesn't understand techie talk. Yeah, so, I mean, you don't have to think about it techie. Very soon, we're going to have a Gab browser, just like we have a Brave browser and a Chrome browser, and you can pick the one you want to install and use. Simple enough. This one is Brave without the crypto stuff, or you could think of it like it's Chrome without the Google, plus an ad blocker with Dissenter built in. Dissenter is the thing I showed you. Beat off, tweet off. Yeah. All right, cool. So that's kind of it, guys. I mean, like, I was like, well, what can I show them about this browser? But I mean, it's a Chrome browser, so there's nothing really groundbreaking to the browser itself. It looks like Chrome. It just has Dissenter integrated. Like you have these little Dissenter buttons on a tweet. So now if you want to have a free speech conversation about this tweet that this weird guy just made, you could click on this little button there, or you could hit it up here and comment on, his whole profile. Welcome, free communicators. You guys should go join the comments. Pretty cool. All right. So When you gonna get on Linux, Patrick? I'm on Linux all day, every day, sir. This is the broadcast editing workstation, and that's not good on Linux yet. But yeah, no, I am very much a fan. I think my old laptop had it on it only, and my new laptop dual boots right now. Anyway, yeah, Linux is cool. I'm getting much better for gaming lately. It's been really cool. Very nice. VR on Linux. You have to let us know how VR on Linux goes. That's kind of the end of the content, guys. I was excited. Like, exclusive. Here it is. The Dissenter browser, guys. Really cool. I'm gonna close it and start it again. Oh, look at this. So cool. So, like, you know, you can see the top conversations on Dissenter here. Timcast is all over it. Tim Pool. A lot of his viewers have been commenting a lot lately because freedom. So, like, you know, this is a video. We can watch the video, and then now we can have a comment section that isn't controlled by Google. Just really cool stuff. Dissenter is cool. I don't social media the way most people do, so it doesn't really apply to me. Or as far as I can tell, it doesn't, but I do very much like that it gives individuals their voice back. Why are you wearing a jacket? Isn't it 77 degrees in Texas? It's really cold in my house right now, and I didn't want to get all dressed up, so I just put the headphones on. You know, that's all. Too many low IQ people on Gab, really? I haven't really used the social network much, but I've been poking around on Dissenter just to be rebellious about it. All right, guys. Well, it was fun hanging out. The next thing I want to get hooked up on here is I want like super chats and subscribe whatever donation things, you know, to pop up with text to speech. I've never set that up before, so I'm probably gonna after the stream's over, I'll get that set up so next time y'all can say things on my stream. I hope that goes well. Maybe I'll need Dissenter. Anyway, have a great evening, guys. I'll catch up with you later. Thanks for watching.